Ah, yes, it's me. Yeah, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck? Happenings in Mendham, or from the inmendham perspective. Yes, from the perspective of somebody, this body, in Mendham. Okay, enough of an intro. Do. Yeah, music, such. Yeah, this week I did a couple of videos, or at least one, pointing out that civilization requires work, and you have to think, and you have to do things. You can't just do this selfishness works thing. It just is stupid, and it's just disappointing because people really don't get it. They don't get how much waste there is, and they think any job is a good job. You know, as long as somebody's working, that somehow that's good. Doesn't matter that they're doing something that's totally unnecessary or totally inefficient. So, you know, if you had 7 people to take your garbage can to the street, that somehow that's rational or sensible. You know, and you could make work in the sense you could have one person take it to the street, another person take it away from the street, another person take it to the street, and we have all kinds of crap like that built into this selfishness works system, and it compromises everybody's comfort. We're all poorer for it. Even the rich. Nobody really wins. Not that the rich could get significantly, I mean, you'd have to really hurt them to make them significantly poorer in a meaningful way. What I just mean is, whatever you have, you could have a lot more of it if it wasn't for the waste. So, but it basically falls substantially on deaf ears, and you know, but all the videos fall on deaf ears, if any ears at all, and so that's part of the problem. I mean, reporting on the news, you got to kind of make the news. You can't report on the news. You got to be the news, and unfortunately, that will require me to be shot by the police or something, which is just kind of irritating that I have to engineer my my murder or something to make this work fruitful, profitable, productive, efficient, useful. And that's just lamentable that that's the way the thing works. So, maybe there's some other way, because I am trying to win the Nobel Prize. If I do that, of course, then all this periphery philosophizing will also gain some sort of significance or meaning to the world, and be heard anyway. The ears will still probably be substantially deaf to the the logic, because it's not what people want to hear. They want to hear, they want to hear me good, them who cares, me important, them not so important, me more, them less, whatever. It's just the horror. It's like having a conversation with, I'm looking for praying mantises, not finding any though. Saw a male one this morning, so I figure they're out cavorting or whatever they do, whatever they would call it. It's not, I might, maybe, who knows, maybe they have some sort of love making, whatever that would be. I don't even know if people do that anymore. It's all fetish exchanges. People don't have sex, they have some sort of fetish play. From what I understand. Yeah, not that I know anything about it. Anyway, so do I need to do any more argument in defense of the idea that civilization requires us to work at it and think about more than what's my angle, what's my advantage, and you have to be a little more thoughtful than that. And yeah, I mean, that's such a simple argument to me. It really shouldn't require any work. But there's just, it just doesn't matter. You spell out the problems of people's plans, and they just ignore it because they're glued to this shit. It's like these people with the zeitgeist, resource economy kind of crap. They think you can abolish all of the requirement to motivate people, and that you can just hand them a life and they'll do something productive. And of course they won't. So you do have to encourage that. You do have to provide incentives and punishments, rewards and punishments, to get people motivated to improve their life. So there always has to be an incentive to do better and to do more. And it doesn't have to be $1 million. For $10,000, people will do they'll substantially try harder for an extra 10 grand. It really doesn't require $1 million payoffs. And that's just a fact that people like to ignore, because they all think they need $1 billion payoff. But that's all they want. They want it to be $1 billion. They don't want to have a system that provides the minimum to get the most. They want a system that affects them by giving them the most for the minimum in terms of the productivity. They certainly value their contribution more than anybody else's contribution. They certainly value their own labor more than anybody else's labor. Again, I'm just pointing out something that should be obvious. People are selfish, and they ought to just admit it, that they're selfish. And that conversations about social policy just really can't get into conversations about personal motivations. You have to just get into the argument about what's the generic psychology, and we know we can addict you to anything. We can, that we're moldable, and the culture molds us, and certainly your maturation and teachers and parents and all that stuff do all this molding, and they can do it well or they can do it poorly, and the systems in place are designed to do it poorly. Whether it's intentionally poorly, I don't know, but it almost seems like you couldn't do it this badly unless you were trying to do it wrong. As I pointed out, many of our systems are so broken, and you're saying, well, why don't they fix them? Social Security numbers, for example. And obviously the reason is there's a huge advantage for some people in having a system that's broken. And it's an exploitable system. The failures of it provide opportunity for chicanery, shenanigans, and people love to make money doing shenanigans. Cat wants some attention, and I'm not really in the mood there, Cat, though. Quite depressing here on Earth. So, anyway, weather really fantastic for September still. And it's going to rain now till tomorrow. Things will probably crash a bit, get more realistic, have to face the brutal truth. Winter is on its way. It's at least packing its trunk full of horror. There they are, having their romp. I knew they would do that. See, I predicted it, didn't I? That's what I knew they were going to get. I knew they'd get up to business. Get up to business? Get to business. Yes. So, sometimes two males will show up, and I think that's when one of the males ends up dead. So I think the fairy tale, or wives' tale, or whatever you call it, the urban legend that the males get their heads eaten off. I think that only happens when there's two males, and the two males figure out that, hey man, I don't do this threesome shit. One of them says so. And, a head rolls, so to speak. So anyway, they really, I don't know if they've gotten really to it yet. Are they? Well, I guess they are connected. Kind of a scrawny male. That's a bad thing. Anyway, it's a better view from over here. Just chronicle it for the sake of chronicalization. Yeah, porn, insect porn. It's not terribly exciting, is it? Insect porn. Did I come yet? I don't know. Did you come? I don't know. Is something happening? We're having sex, right? I don't know. How about taking a nap? It doesn't look like a very exciting game they play. But obviously they're motivated to play it, so something must happen. You know, must be an UGG in there somewhere. Somewhere. Must be one. Anyway. Yeah, I don't want to drag this out. So, yeah, I'll keep doing this routine. I just try to find better segments, maybe. I think I'll do one more week of the drunken peasants, and then we'll move on to some other clowns of pop culture acceptance, and then the news thing, I just don't know. The science news thing might be more, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that segment exactly. This news is just, you know, it's just chosen for its stupidity most of the time. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's all I see. You know, who did the stupidest thing today in America? He's on the news. And usually it's a cop. You know, what's the stupidest thing a cop could do today? And, you know, they find that story and report on it. And then, you know, it's all what the culture says is news. I mean, all the people who had trauma in their lives today will not know anything about it. All the kids killed by drunks and all that stuff, that won't be any news. There won't be any coverage of that. It'll just be this, I don't even know what to call it, this political news, this contest news. It's almost like sports news. The news is sort of like sports reporting. So they don't bother with the unpopular sports. So they just go with the popular sports, the heroes, and follow them around and see if they get drunk. Yeah, so I personally don't find it compelling as a source of things that I should occupy my neurons with. But, you know, we'll see. I have to do something, and so I'll try to do something entertaining and informative. And that's the tricky part, you know, infotainment. But as stated, I really have to kind of, you know, really have to do some kind of little engine that could crap in my head to give a damn. You know, I just am quite discouraged. But anyway, you know, I just am. So it is more difficult than it should be. So anyway, the cat says hi. Well, I'll say hi for him anyway. And I guess I'll say till very soon when I'm doing the next bit of stuff that I do in these videos to try to convey understanding of some kind and such. Diseased people you're touching. Very bad idea if you have marginal health. Yeah, so, but who really cares about that kind of stuff, right? I mean, does that really matter to anybody? Even if she dropped dead, does it really matter to anybody? Are they going to really grieve? No. So why are they worried about it? Yeah.
Just this last weekend. What happened was, I don't know, a month or two ago, I started getting a little bit of pressure and some sort of buzzing in my ear, a little bit of tinnitus. But, you know, I've been swimming a lot, and I just assumed it was some water.
Yes, that'll do it. I had that water in the ear problem, but free of that now. Free of the swimming, which is, a bad thing. But yes, no water in my ears, good thing.
In there, and it kind of went on. I tried some sort of eardrops to clear out wax, and then I ended up going to a clinic, and they pulled a little piece of wax off the eardrum, and it didn't really get better, so I went back and they pulled another piece of wax off the eardrum, and then they said, try this nasal spray, and so I was supposed to, I think, open up the eustachian tubes or something like that. And so...
Yeah, I think it's exduction tubes, but whatever. Station, I don't know, exduction, tomato, potato.
So I did that, and it didn't really help that much.
I don't really know if you got to go through this whole story thing. You could just get to the punchline. I'm doomed. I got cancer.
Either, and so I decided. So, for those who don't know this history, back in the day, a couple of years ago, I had a lump on my neck, and it took forever to get it dealt with up here in Canada. And like months.
Yeah, right, I'm sure. Oh, it was just horrible. I had to wait years and years to get my tumor removed. I don't think so, but whatever. Complaining again. I mean, he wishes it was a system where all the poor people get no health care and die younger, and all the rich people get to live for very ripe old ages because they deserved it, because they inherited the money. Because they inherited the money. I mean, until you capitalist guys get rid of the inheritance thing, you just don't have an argument. Just like the liberals, until they get rid of the Obama-Hillary corporate lovers and this idea that somehow all the poor people are wonderful, smart people who are just going to be so wonderfully productive, and they don't drive down wages at all, and thus overpopulation is not a problem. The Pyrrho idiots of open borders and idiocracy, let's get there as quickly as possible. Yes, okay, so both parties have huge liabilities, but I'm just informing you, until you get rid of that idea that somehow the children earned it, you'll never sell a rational person, an honest person, somebody who has any kind of notion of a fair fight, anybody who could just realize that it wouldn't make any sense in any other competition ever performed on planet Earth. There's no other competition performed on planet Earth. Even little kids' spelling bees. You wouldn't let them inherit the victory. There's nowhere on this planet that you could come up with a competition where you'd say inheritance wins. It's insanely stupid. And so if you fix that, you might be able to sell some of this earn it bullshit. But until then, it's not about earning. It's about stealing. It's about lords and kings and privilege without fucking effort. Reward without productivity. That's stupid.
Months and months and months. Even when I finally got to a specialist, he said it was going to take months to have an operation to remove it. So what happened?
I think that's all a pile of shit. I really do. I think it's just a pile of shit.
What happened was I ended up
I'm
going to a broker.
I'm not a big fan of communal health care, in the sense that I really don't want to buy into a plan where people get to spend $1 million to keep a dead person alive. So I think that's really stupid. So, but I mean, I don't mind buying insurance against catastrophes health-wise, and even having a minimalist health insurance. But this idea that, oh, we're just going to spend $500,000 on a drunk guy to, give him liver transplants and shit. No, that's really retarded.
Some amazing, wonderful, kind, incredibly competent doctors at a place called the Surgery Center of Oklahoma, which is a surgerycenterok.com. We'll put a link below.
Oh, yeah, very exciting. I just can't wait to go there. Have some surgery by those wonderful capitalists who are earning their money cutting people open and cutting things out. They're just so wonderful. And just,
In particular, Dr. Smith, who's been on this show a couple of times, was just...
Oh, right. So he went to a doctor he already knew. So this story is just full of bullshit, right? You can just smell that bull. Oh, Stefan's got some health issues and he doesn't know who to go to, but he has some friends who are doctors, but he couldn't figure out how to go to them first. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it? No, it doesn't.
A fantastic physician and a very, very skilled surgeon, right? So they gave me a little scar down here.
Oh, yeah, that was the cancer thing. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is the earlier problem. They gave me a little scar down here.
And pulled out the lump, and then it was sent for a biopsy. It turned out to be lymphoma, which is a form of cancer, of course. And so I went through the treatment up here in Canada, which was done.
Right, so he got that cheap. And no complaints because it was cheap. Free.
Well and fine and all of that. And so I wanted...
Yes, apparently it went well and fine because you got cured for free. And you're still going to sit there and try to, beat the old lady to pieces. So the old lady came to the rescue, gave you the treatment for free, and you're still griping.
To go and have this, my ear checked out. My sort of feeling, and I've got good, nice doctors up here in Canada. The individuals are all very keen on helping, but there is a problem just with the generally socialist system as a whole.
Oh, whatever. Yes, so just do your little raggy-baggy, Yes, there's going to be a problem with a system that's trying to do way too much on way too little a dollar, but it's still a lot cheaper than, any other of the private systems, and you know that it has results in the sense that there's this obvious problem of, making comfort on earth completely dependent on if you inherited a wallet or not.
And so I flew down last week to the surgery center of Oklahoma and met with a wonderful ear specialist. I had a hearing test. There was a little bit of diminished hearing in the left ear, and so it was an exam, and it was most likely something called idiopathic hearing loss, which is
well, gee, would you really get to it already? I'm starting to really not get interested.
Idiopathic just apparently, I think, means we don't know what's caused it. It could be loud music, although I've never been a big one for cranking up the Led Zeppelin.
Yes, well, it wouldn't be in one ear then, not likely anyway.
It could be, I did receive some blows to the head as a child. It could have...
You'd receive some blows to the head. Oh, that's funny. But anyway, I'm sorry, I found that just a funny statement.
Something to do. That could just be genetic. It could just be any number of things. And
could be swimming. Could be this. Could be yes. We get all that. Could you get to the point already?
50% of people recover to some degree from that, and I'm sure I'll be in that. I'm pretty healthy and all that. I'm sure I'll be in that number. But
all right. So this isn't a tragic story. So a message from Stefan Molyneux. So somewhere in here, there's a moral to the story. So no doubt he's going to turn this into some sort of Aesop fable or something, and we'll all be told, we'll learn some great lesson. But everything's okay, so don't worry anymore, because he's healthy and he's fine, so no problems.
There was the need for an MRI, and pretty much every day you don't have to have an MRI. It's a pretty good day, because basically you're fed into this big giant womb of intense metallic clanging and crashing for about 45 minutes. Worst nap place ever. It's like being in a really bad electro-techno-punk club. The reason they did that was, in rare situations, you can have something called an acoustic neuroma, which is a tumor that's benign that grows somewhere deep in your ear and often needs to be removed surgically, which will often cost you your hearing in the ear.
Oh, yeah, all this bibble-babble over an ear issue. But yes, more likely that in your case, you'd be worried about something not benign, but whatever.
Completely so. They wanted to rule that out. So I needed an MRI, and I checked in Ontario when I was down there. What's the wait in Ontario for an MRI up here in Canada? And it was, on average, 101 days. Well, that's...
well, for a benign thing, that's not the end of the world, right?
3.5 months. That's a long time to wait. Especially if you've had cancer before, the idea that there's a tumor close to your brain, well, let's just say it gets your attention. And
but I know you just said they're usually these type of ones that cause this hearing problem are benign, so you're already kind of
So I stayed down in Oklahoma over the weekend. That was sort of late Friday afternoon when I got when I had my hearing test and got the feedback from.
They shouldn't let these foreigners in our country. These traitors to their own countries. Quite obviously, right? They're just being traitors to their own country. Ugh, horrible people. I hate traitors.
The wonderful doctor. So I needed an MRI. Now again, average weight in Canada, in Ontario, 101 days.
Right. Why don't you do with average price in America for somebody without health insurance? Let's do that part. Because I'm sure that one's a biggie.
I got one the next business day in America. And was one...
Who paid for it? I'm just curious. How much did it cost? Just curious. You gonna tell me that? So you could wait 3 months for free, or you could pay, what, 10 grand? 5 grand?
wonderful. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but essential.
See, there you go. Don't give me the price, though. Not the cheapest thing in the world. Why don't you give me the real price? So 3 months versus $3,000. Well, to some of us, yeah, $1,000 a month is a lot of money.
And important for, peace of mind and ruling out the low probability of an acute.
Yes, to rule out the low probability of something low probability. I don't mind spending $1,000 a month. Well, maybe I do. Maybe you don't.
Neuroma. And so I had the scan done on Monday, a little after lunch.
Oh, this is all very interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'll get something scanned. Maybe I can get like one of them anal things done. I need one of those. I never had one of those things where they shove a tube up your ass and take pictures and shit. So I should have one of those done. Yeah. I don't really have to have a doctor do it, right?
And the scan came back perfectly clear, healthy brain, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just this idiopathic thing, which I'm sure will bounce back over time. So 6 months.
I'm sure everything's a silver lining. I've heard about that all over the place. The silver lining thing. Everything's going to be just fine. It doesn't matter how, you can, greenhouse gases, fiddle faddle, all that stuff. Everything's going to be fine. Silver lining and all.
So, and the reason I was thinking about all of this is.
Is because I was figuring out how can I make some money out of this. Like, how can I make this part of this whole theme of selfish country and let's all be like Ayn Rand and be a skanky old cunt. And yeah, I really like that. I always put on old lady underwear. I dress up in old lady underwear. Yeah, I buy like special old lady underwear and dress up like an old lady in their underwear because that's hot.
It's a strange situation that I'm in, which is if I want to get something done sort of quickly with...
Let's see, suggested why healthcare costs are so much. They're so much because Medicare doesn't pay shit. And so the actual costs are these preposterous numbers they just make up to make the difference up. And so you can't really buy healthcare a la carte off the menu because, fuck, they're going to charge you 4 times what the real price is because they have to charge 4 times the real price to get the real price from Medicare. Because it's a stupid system, agreed. But it's not stupid because we have plans that people can join. It's just stupid because we don't have enough plans and there's assholes making money off of fucking goddamn people's cancer, which is just kind of disgusting. You should make a living being a doctor, but you shouldn't get rich, quote unquote.
With all of the best possible skills that I can conceive of, I have to take a plane to go to America or feel that way rather than wait.
Yes, I feel that I have to. I feel compelled to do that because I'm an uppity, terribly white man, and I deserve better care.
4 months up here for something to happen.
3 months, you said before. Now it's 4 months. It's 3 months before.
And, of course, in America, you're facing that kind of fork in the road, right?
Well, frankly, in America, depending on where you are in America, you're not going to get there tomorrow either. Go to a clinic in Brooklyn. See what kind of health care you get.
You have Donald Trump, and you can look at Donald Trump's health care plan. It's very much around free market principles. It's about giving people savings accounts that are transferable and inheritable.
Yeah, more inheritance. Yeah, he's big on that, I bet. Let's keep us rich people rich, and let's keep the poor people poor. Yeah, great. There really is no migration. These people have this idiotic notion that, oh yeah, all these people are migrating to the other. It's 3%. 3% of poor people become rich people. 3%.
About increasing competition by allowing insurance companies to compete across state lines.
Yeah, I would shoot the insurance company. Send them all to Canada or something. Let them all go somewhere else. Yeah, because fuck that. That's like usury. I mean, it's bad enough when you lend money, okay, for profit. But when you give health care for profit, that's really gross.
It's a lot of free market reforms, repealing Obamacare, not forcing people to buy health care insurance if they don't want it, or it's not.
Oh yeah, they can't afford it. Yes, that's the real point. Okay, yes, Obama was a cunt for saying, well, I'm not going to really put together any kind of financing. I'm just going to oblige poor people to be poorer, because they're going to have to pay for it. And that's just kind of scummy. Especially when, like I said, some of the health care you're providing is not health care for you. You're financing some other asshole's health care. And you're like, well, why am I paying for that? And why am I paying for that? Because I wouldn't get that shit. I what, heart transplants? Why should I be paying for any of that crap?
Economically practical for them. Versus, Hillary Clinton, who has the standard Democratic approach, I would assume, of just wanting at some point in it.
You would assume. I mean, she was big on this whole healthcare reform thing when she was Mrs. President's wifey thingy. And, but yeah, I'm sure she's not going to say anything too aggressively anti-Obama at the moment. But, yeah, it doesn't, I will state logically that there's no way, you can't get this free lunch thing they keep pretending is out there somewhere. It's like Bernie Sanders' free education thing. There's no free education. High school isn't free. Grammar school isn't free. Huge taxes are paid to finance that crap. No, it ain't free.
Future, maybe sooner rather than later, a single-payer healthcare system, which is basically socialized medicine.
Yes, which is basically sensible. It's a frickin' actuarial tables. Actuarial tables. You just read the table, you find out what the risks are, and you pay a premium for your risk. My computer, my shitty computer, that doesn't always work, can do it.
And thus a massive takeover of 1/6 of the U.S. economy.
So if it's 1/6 of the U.S. economy and there's a huge amount of money in it, then wouldn't it make sense to try to take all that little graft out of there? Take all the stock market profits out of cancer? Yeah, I think that would be just super. So let's do the old non-for-profit healthcare. Yes, let's do that.
Now the U.S. market for medicine and surgery and healthcare in general pretty messed up by the government as a whole. Half of every dollar spent on healthcare is spent by the government. And the massive Obamacare, I've done some presentations on. You can search for them on this.
Right, so let's understand, the government is paying the capitalist and he's complaining. So isn't that the irony, right? We let a bunch of capitalist businesses run the healthcare system and we use the government to give them the money. Now, that's the ripoff, right? I mean, if the government's going to be paying for it, then the government might as well provide it. Frankly.
Channel. There are some theories which I think have some credibility that the purpose of Obamacare is to mess up the free market. The remnants of the free market mess them up so much that the government says, well, the free market failed, so we got to...
Well, again, so what's the evidence of that? Does he have one shred of evidence that the insurance companies or anybody is doing worse because of Obamacare? Is there really any evidence of any of that shit? Any worse than they were doing before Obamacare, in the sense that, yes, of course there's bankruptcies, and of course there's winners and losers, but are there really less winners under Obamacare, capitalist winners? Can you show me where the capitalist winners have been, stricken dead by Obamacare? No, you can't, because you're full of shit.
Just take it over. And, so there is this sort of fork in the road, and I was thinking about that, with regards to my own health. And
yes, I would stick a fork in your own health.
And what I needed to do, or at least what I felt I needed to do to go and get, quick, efficient health care was fly down to the States. It's a completely ridiculous thing to have to do when you're paying a lot of taxes for a healthcare system up here in Canada. But
and so what would you do? Have a system for the elitist, right? So they should be able to pay what? Maybe pay an extra $50 so they can jump ahead in the line because they have money. Is that what you do? You just say to the rest of the Canadians, well, you're not as cool as me because you don't have as much money as me, so I should jump ahead in the line. Is that what you think? Fuckhead?
That was sort of the reality of what needed to happen for me. And so this fork in the road where you have people on the Democrat side pushing for more and more government control of healthcare. And
I don't think they're doing that. I mean, frankly. I mean, yes, I mean, in the sense of saying, let's take the part that's really easy to do, the insurance part, and just say, fuck, let's get the graft out of that. We don't need to make people rich, selling insurance. That's just idiotic, because that's just numbers. I mean, that's just statistics. A fucking idiot can do it.
And you have people on the Trump side pushing for more and more free market reforms in healthcare. Another thing that Donald Trump wants to do, of course, is have open pricing, right? Because it's really kind of murky a lot of times what you're paying for and how the bills are calculated. It's one of the things that...
Yeah, well, I mean, to have open pricing, then you're going to have to go back to not having a Medicare system that only pays a percentage, because as soon as it doesn't pay a percentage, that's why the pricing got stupid, is because everybody rigged the system because Medicare didn't pay the full amount. So if you make Medicare pay the full amount, well, then you're going to have to spend a lot more money in Medicare. But yes, it would be rational to have rational pricing.
It's great about one of the many things.
I mean, actual pricing, not this $400 aspirin crap.
Great about the Surgery Center of Oklahoma is that they put their prices right there on the website. You can see what it's going to cost you right up front, which is a very, I think, very powerful thing. And it's hard to get that from...
Yeah, so we ought to go look that up and see how much he paid for his MRI.
Other places, but these guys are not just great at what they do.
But maybe this is a commercial, and maybe he got it for free because he's sitting there, keeps pointing to their links. Are you telling us you're doing a commercial? Did you actually get a kickback? Are you being honest here, or are you being dishonest? Did your friend give you a deal? And part of the deal is this bullshit with the link crap? I mean, that's a kind of fraud, fuckhead. Is Donald Trump against fraud? Would Donald Trump say this is an okay way to do business?
They are really committed to the free market, to small government, to choice, consumer choice, and
to lying scummery. Which you might be doing some of that right now, right? I mean, I don't want to make any false accusations, but it just does seem like you're awful interested in posting that link. You're awful interested. Let's see if there's actually a link down here. Surgery Center of Oklahoma. I wonder if that's a paid advertising.
All of those wonderful free market principles in healthcare. So my suggestion is if you ever need anything, just go and check them out. First, they are well worth it. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a commercial to me. Doesn't it sound like a commercial to you? It sounds like a commercial to me.
Yeah, it's just something to think about. You know, when you are going down the road and trundling, staring down that November time frame.
Yeah, think about getting a brain tumor and going to the Surgery Center of Oklahoma. Yeah, that's a fun thing to do. Especially in the autumn. Yeah, with all the leaves changing and stuff. Just think about, oh, I think I have a brain tumor and I better go get me some surgery at that Oklahoma place.
I think everyone knows where I would stand with regards to socialized medicine versus more free market medicine. But that is a very...
Yes, and you'll stand there as a hypocrite who sucked at the tit and got all fat on the tit, got all healthy on the tit. And then you'll sit there and talk this shit. Very funny.
Real issue. And you don't really want to end up in a situation where you need health care, but you're unable to get it.
You're unable to weasel your way ahead in the line. So, yeah, it's not like you're unable to get it. You just want to cut in the line because the line's full of creepy people that aren't worth it, and you're worth it. That's all he's saying, right? I mean, the 3-month wait means there's other people that also have little lumpy odas that need, imaging. And he's just basically saying, no, my lump's more important. I'm sure it is, because it's me.
Because socialism has removed market incentives.
No, socialism is attempting to remove some of this inequity and some of this elitist crapola where you fucking cunts, you Clintons and you Trumpies and you Molinuxes think you're better than the rest of us and more worthy of existing and that you've made some sort of more vital contribution when all you've done is be kings of chicanery and shenanigans. You haven't done anything. You think Hillary Clinton, she hasn't made a campfire. I mean, she hasn't invented a marshmallow. She hasn't done a motherfucking thing of value. Nothing. I mean, her earnings are all bullshit earnings, propaganda earnings. They have nothing to do with anything like a real contribution. And the same thing for Donald the fucking idiotic Trump stump. He hasn't done anything but sit on a log called inheritance.
Which always results in shortages. And You know, shortages for some things, not the end of the world. Shortages for healthcare can.
Well, then why don't you advocate that you pay more taxes to finance more availability, right? It's a cheaper system than the American system. So why don't you say, well, why don't we spend more money on it then, so it can be like America and you can have way too many MRI machines instead of a few too few? Because it's always better to have a bunch of really expensive technology that's not doing anything. Yeah, that's always a good idea.
For you, for me, for anyone, literally be the end of the world. Thank you so much for listening.
I missed whatever that was, but who cares? Fearmonger. Fuck you. This was a message. A special message to pay back the good doctors at the surgery center for the break they cut me on the very expensive technology I used in a foreign country because I'm a traitor to my own country. Because I don't have anything called honor or integrity. I'm really just a scummy, usury piece of trolly shit. And I'll suck any tit that's available. And I'll rape them if I have to.
And for watching. This is Stefan Molyneux for Free Domain Radio. If you would like to help out the show, we'd really, really appreciate it. You can go to Free Domain Radio.
Right, and you'll just spend the money on MRIs in America. So, good Canadians, if there's any Canadians watching old Stefan, yes, give him some money so he can go piss it away in America on frivolous, I want to cut in line bullshit.
.com/donate. And thank you so much for listening and watching.
Scum, 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 scum. Anyway. Unfortunately, the people who have any respect for me or any appreciation for my videos are usually dysfunctional, poor people. So there's absolutely no point in me saying, if you feel like making a donation, because most of them can't feel like it. Even if they felt like it, the only thing they could donate is, a piece of their warts or something. I don't want warts in the mail, thank you very much. So yeah, they really don't have anything. I mean, it's like I have a couple of these I could send somebody, but that's about all I got. Anyway, so that's probably enough. I don't even know if I'll bother with the news, so it's just the 2 segments this week because I'm kind of discouraged and tired, and I just really can't, just really can't give a shit. So, I care, but I just can't manifest any kind of enthusiasm. I'm really trying to do the little brain thing here. Hey Gary, your mood will make your mood. So just pretend you're not in a shitty mood. But, sometimes you just can't do it. I suppose I could do it. It's just that for some reason there's a program in here that's just saying, cop out, cop out, cop out. Run away. And I'm listening more. Whatever, it's winning for some reason. And so I'm just, I'm being a pussy about it. So anyway, till next time and such, have a pleasant evening and week, and hope, hope, wish, wish. Yes, hope, hope, wish, wish. Hope, hope, wish, wish. I should come up with a way of saying that very flamboyantly. Hope, hope, wish, wish. That'd be like my peace out thing. Peace the fuck out. Hope, hope, the fuck, wish. Yeah, that's good. Hope, hope, the fuck, wish. Like that does any good, right? Yeah. Oh, wow, that's just like real food, except it's not. Yes, hope and wish doesn't work, you idiots. Anyway, especially these nihilist, cunt, selfish, bastard, fucking... we should pave roads with them. Anyway, that's not a horrible thing to say, is it? I mean, it's an honest expression. I just think they're probably worthy of the same treatment as ground stone. They should be dipped in tar and rolled into a flat surface that has utility. It'll be the most productive day of your life. The day we make a highway out of you. Yeah. Okay. That's a joke, I guess. I have to say something like that just so I don't seem like some kind of Nazi or something. But I don't think I'm being ethnic, right? So you can't really call it a hate crime. So I just hate sucky and randy and gay twatophiles from Canada. Because the gay part didn't need to be in there. He always seemed pretty gay to me anyway. Hi everybody, I'm going to talk shit. You always seem really kind of Mr. Rogers of Randian philosophy. Eek, creepy, creepy. Don't you wish to be my cunty comrade in arms in fighting the evil do-gooders? Social justice people? Aren't they all evil? Shouldn't the world just be about the blue bloods, the people who inherited the money? Because, you know, they're always the quality people. Always. Anyway, till the next time, and such. The end. Probably. Hope, hope, fuck the wish out.